Everyone aspires for economic growth and more importantly, sustained economic growth. What we mean, how do we have the sustained economic growth has a very simple definition. Year 1 to year 5 to year 8, consistently we want to grow and add more jobs and keep those jobs very sustainable so that the regional economy picks up. So this is a fact of life and most of the regional governments across the world aspire for such a thing. Then obviously what is the key action items that you got to do so to keep this thing going, and let's leverage as part 1 and part 2 different items, strategic action items that sustain the economic growth activities. Number 1, first and foremost, you got to foster innovation driven entrepreneurship. This is a prereq and a mandatory goal. Many of the institutes earlier in the B schools have started with entrepreneurship and they failed to a large extent. As you see in the ecosystem of startups, 80% of them fail. One of the fundamental reasons for that is lack of innovation driven entrepreneurship. The innovation in a specific key sector across the specific key thrust area that you have identified where you want to go after. That's perhaps the single most instance that you can call out. The second is, how do you formulate an effective innovation strategy that transcends across multiple key sectors so that across the region you can nurture multiple innovation clusters. The third aspect what you got to see is, when building out IPs, don't think locally but act globally. I can give you a specific example where we helped a UK based company. They used to think, oh, do we have a UK market? No. But when we did a global IP strategy for them and shown in the global markets how Japanese is a good market for them, so in the Nordic regions, they were amazed to see, oh wow, the Nordic is our backyard, we can go and do a lot of things. Immediately they changed their mindset and now they have taken IP strategy much at a global level rather than regional level and opened new markets which were hitherto missing out for them. So that's the obvious benefit of having it as a global IP context, and more importantly leveraging the right tools to make it. And the third and single most important aspect that I can call out, rather the fourth item, is to assess your own idea that is coming up from the startup to see what is it worth in gold, worth in silver, or in some brass. So you have to do a commercialization potential and assess for this idea, will it make it big? And you can see a clean slate coming up. Yes, it holds the potential by using different types of analytic tools, which we'll talk later. Obviously, the idea is your home run, because you remember, idea to value is the net sum game. Idea to product into market, and then idea to product to market and eventual business value. That's going to determine the success of the company now and beyond. So then moving ahead, how do I identify the emerging trends, technologies? Where do I need to invest and harvest? It's a very continuous one. So, and in order to understand such key trends, you got to keep track of the changing market needs. Where is it evolving? For example, financial services. Within financial services is the fintech sector. Now, how blockchain is being used. Many of the big companies like Citibank, etc., they're experimenting with blockchain. But what degree of success they have had? That's another deep dive you can see and understand. Yes, if it makes sense, there you go. You are understood who is doing what in a competitive landscape standpoint, and then you can invest your dollars in that right direction so as to validate you are looking out for someone, is someone else doing or not. That's all. And once you see the potential, be the early bird, catch on the bandwagon and move on in that direction so that you can across 3 years, 5 years or beyond sustain in an ongoing way. And that again comes to your root cause of sustained economic growth over a 3-year, 5-year or 8-year period. All right, so that's it. We'll address the other issues in the next part. Thank you very much, guys.